You stay completely calm when something big falls apart, but your phone dies, or someone cancels plans, and suddenly you're spiraling for hours. That's not a coincidence. That's a clue. Psychology has a name for what happens when a kid learns to manage their own emotions before they were ever supposed to. It's called early emotional independence. It doesn't look like trauma. It looks like a quiet, capable kid who never needed much. The kid adults bragged about. He's so mature. She's so easy. They handle themselves. But here's the part nobody tells you. You weren't a kid who matured early. You were a kid who got handed an adult's job and was told to be grateful for the responsibility. That maturity wasn't a gift. It was a position you got hired for without ever applying. And the paycheck, safety, attention, someone holding it all so you didn't have to, never came. 1. You don't know how to ask for help, even when you need it. Not because you're proud, because somewhere along the way, asking stopped feeling like an option. You learned that if you needed something, you figured it out. And when other adults offer to help you now, your first instinct isn't relief, it's suspicion. You wait for the catch. Psychologists call this defensive self-reliance. Your brain decided early that depending on people was riskier than just handling it yourself. So you got really, really good at handling it yourself. And now you're the person who'd rather Google something for 2 hours than text a friend who already knows the answer. But that's only the surface. The way this rewiring shows up in stress is even stranger. 2. You're calm during real emergencies and falling apart over small things. Big crisis? You're cold, focused, locked in. Your friends are amazed at how you handle it. But your laptop crashes or someone's late to pick you up, and something in your chest goes off like a fire alarm in an empty building. Loud, constant, over nothing. This isn't random. When you grew up emotionally independent, big chaos felt familiar. You knew the drill. But small things, the ones a kid should never have to manage alone, never got processed. So they hit you now, as an adult, out of nowhere, over nothing. 3. You can tell when something's wrong with everyone except yourself. You catch the shift in someone's voice on the phone. You notice when your friend's smile doesn't reach their eyes. You're the one people come to because you actually see them, but ask you what you're feeling right now. And you blank. Not because you don't have feelings, because you spent your childhood as the household's emotional weather station, constantly reading the room, predicting storms, adjusting yourself to whatever was coming. Your job was tracking everyone else. Nobody was tracking you, so you didn't learn to either, and it gets worse. The next sign reveals why you instinctively make yourself smaller around the people you love most. 4. You hate being seen as a burden more than almost anything else. The fastest way to make you go quiet is to make you feel like you're too much, too needy, too emotional, too anything. You'll cancel plans, hide your problems, downplay how bad something is, all to avoid being the one who's a problem for someone else. The truth is you learned this young. Somewhere, somehow, you got the message that your needs were inconvenient. And kids don't process that as this adult is failing me. They process it as I should need less. So you got smaller, you shrunk yourself to fit a space someone else should have been making bigger, and now even as an adult who's allowed to take up space, your body still doesn't believe it. 5. You physically cannot relax without feeling like you're doing something wrong. Everyone else can collapse on the couch on a Sunday and just exist. You try it, and within about 10 minutes, there's a low hum of guilt under everything, a feeling that you're forgetting something, falling behind, that you should be useful right now. Rest doesn't land as rest. It lands as a debt you're not paying. Here's where that comes from. When you were a kid, being useful was the thing that kept you safe. The helpful one, the easy one, the one who handled things. That's how you earned your spot. So your brain quietly wired your worth to your output. Psychologists call it contingent self-worth, the quiet sense that you're only okay as long as you're producing, fixing, holding something up. The second you stop, an old alarm starts whispering that you've stopped earning your place. So you stay busy, not because you love it. Because stillness doesn't feel like rest. It feels like the floor might disappear. That restlessness is exhausting on its own, but it points to something bigger, a pattern that quietly runs every close relationship you have. 6. You don't fall for people. You adopt them. Look back at the people you've loved most. There's a pattern, isn't there? They needed something. They were a little lost, a little overwhelmed, a little broken in ways nobody else seemed willing to deal with. And somehow, you became the person holding everything together. You're drawn to people you can take care of because being needed feels safer than being wanted. Being needed is familiar. It's something you can earn. Being wanted requires trust. And trust was never something you got much practice with. Psychologists call this compulsive caregiving. It's when a child who learned to take care of everyone else grows into an adult who feels most secure doing the same thing. You become the helper, the fixer, the reliable one, the person everyone leans on. And underneath it all is one quiet fear. If I stop being useful, will people still stay? So you keep giving. You keep showing up. You keep carrying more than your share. Not always because people deserve it, but because being needed became one of the only ways your nervous system learned to feel safe. And the last one, this is the one most people don't see coming, the one that explains everything underneath. 7. You miss a version of yourself you don't fully remember. There's a softness you grieve sometimes and you can't even name it. A version of you that wasn't scanning, wasn't bracing, wasn't already 3 steps ahead. You see kids being silly and something in your chest aches a little and you don't know why. That's the grief of the childhood you didn't get to have. The one where someone else was supposed to be holding it all so you could just be a kid. You're not making it up. That loss is real. And it's okay to feel it. Here's what's worth sitting with. Growing up emotionally independent too early made you capable. It made you strong. It made you the kind of person other people lean on. None of that is fake, but it wasn't a choice. It was a survival skill you built because the alternative wasn't safe. You didn't become independent because you were strong. You became independent because you had to. And there's a difference between being strong and being unable to put it down. Which sign hit hardest? 1 through 7? Drop the number below. See you in the next one.